Hi, and welcome back to another episode, I guess, of contracting or contracting 101 with me, Kurt Wilson. I'll be talking to you guys today about some basic things in government contracts that kind of help you get started in your journey. So, what I want to do differently today, hopefully the camera picks it up, or should I say the audio picks up. I'm going to have Caress, which is my business partner, read some questions in the background to kind of help me stay on track and kind of, stay in line with the flow of the episode today. So we'll just be going over some basic contracting things, capability statements, whether I should be a prime, whether I should be a sub, etc., things of that nature. So, thanks for you guys for coming back to another episode or another video on my YouTube channel. And thank you guys for, if this is your first time, thank you for joining me today. So let's just dive straight into it and let's go with there. So, Caress, what was that first question that you had there?
Okay, so the first question I had was what makes a capability statement effective for the different agencies that I'm targeting? Or are there key things that I should have in my capability statement?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, a lot of times in government contracting, you'll hear people talk about, or agencies, etc., will talk about, a capability statement. What is this capability statement that I keep hearing thrown around if I'm a small business trying to do business with the federal government? And I want to do another disclaimer real quick, guys. When getting information from me or speaking with me, whether it's from advisory role, consultant role, or just basic flyby information, I'm talking about federal contracting from the federal position. You can't do state contracts, city contracts, etc. So most of the time, if not all the time, I'm going to be talking about from the federal position, and most likely you being the prime contractor and operating on SAM.gov. So that's mostly where I'll be speaking from when giving advice or my opinion. But anyway, so capability statement. What is it? Capability. I can't even talk. Capability statement is simply it's almost like a one-page document, PDF, preferably of a business of your business snapshot of accomplishments, things you've done as far as like past performance, past contracting that you've won, contracts that you've won. It's also going to have on there things like your address, the name of your company, phone numbers for your POCs. It's going to have your NAICS codes that you're going to provide your services or supplies to the federal government. It's going to have all that as a one-page document, and it's a plethora of them out there. So, my suggestion is, go on Google, go on the internet, and just try to look up a sample capability statement for similar business that you may have and see what it gives you back. If not, AI is a great tool. You can put in the prompts, things about your business, NAICS codes, etc., and tell it to create a capability statement for you and have it shoot out a capability PDF document one pager. But to answer the question directly, a capability statement is just a one page snapshot of your business. Kind of look at it as like a resume for yourself, just a little bit shorter. So, on your resume, you're going to have, your previous employment, who you work for, how much your salary was, things of that nature, references, numbers, contacts. Same thing with your business and your capability statement. You're going to have those exact same things on there. That way, if you go to, different forums or you talking with a contracting officer or SBA liaison, you can give them that one page via email or hard copy. That way they can get a clear picture of who you are, what you offer, and how soon you are available to do that most likely. And that's what the capability statement is.
Okay. And if I were to have a lack of federal past performance, is there a best strategy to help me build my past performance record?
Yeah, so past performance is just that. Most of the time, the government won't penalize you for not having past performance on any given solicitation unless it's, something specific where they're requiring that. But for the most part, past performance is what they're going to call neutral. So if you don't have it, they're not going to dink you. But if you do have it, it's only going to help you in the long run. So if you're a small business starting out and you don't have, efficient or relatable past performance of that solicitation work that you're getting ready to provide to the government, the best thing to do is if you're going to sub that work out, see if the government will allow you to use your subs past performance as almost like a joint venture or partnership to provide that to the government as equal past performance for you and your sub. So, in other words, can you use their experience as a placeholder, for lack of better words, for you as the prime's experience for past performance? So that's what a strategy that I like to use if I don't have past performance, specifically directly for my company. So, for example, let's say you're bidding on a landscaping contract and your specialty is in, let's say, HVAC or maintenance type. That's what you provide, but you want to, go after a landscape contract, but you don't have landscape contract experience. Well, what you can simply do, if the contract allows, read through your solicitation, talk to your contracting officer and contracting specialists. But if it allows, and you plan on subbing that work out, say I'm going to plan on partnering up with Grass Company LLC to provide these landscape services. Can I use their past performance, their experience, and we bid as a company and provide that to the federal government as sufficient past performance? So that's one way you can do to kind of get around that or kind of help out with that past performance check of the box. Or sometimes, like I say, the government in the solicitation will say, if you don't have relevant past performance, don't submit that past performance section, but it'll just remain neutral, and see how the government feels about that. But the best thing I would try to do is partner up with another company that has that past performance, if you're not going to provide it yourself, and see if you can use that as a placeholder for that.
Okay. And should I focus on bidding as a prime contractor, or should I target subcontracting opportunities with larger primes first?
Yeah, so if it's me, I say both. But if you're just starting out, I would say, focus on you being the prime, you being, the provider for that service or contract. Now, I'm not saying you don't sub and you try to do all the work yourself, but I'm saying initially starting out, you want to, in my personal opinion, go in after solicitations at the prime. That way you can start building that relationship with that agency. You can start understanding how the process works. You can understand, solicitation. Go, and it gives you credibility as the prime. It's nothing like, going to sam.gov or your email and you saying you company XYZ have been awarded this contract. That feeling of that is just, it's kind of indescribable. But aside from that, it gives you that hands-on experience in doing the one-on-one experience with the federal government. So, but don't let that stop you from not bidding. If you are nervous or you're hesitant or you feel your company is just not ready to be the prime because you don't want to mess the brand up or mess the name up or that relationship with the federal government, it may be easier or better to go in as a sub. So, you find a solicitation out there, you wait to see when it's awarded and it's been awarded to another company, or reach out to that company and say, I was going to bid on this as a prime. I didn't feel like I was ready. I didn't feel confident enough, but I still want to support the government and get some experience. Is there any way with your award that you've been awarded, Mr. Company, that I can come in and be a sub to you to get that experience, get a better understanding, and that may be best for you and your company as well to start baby steps before you actually go in as a prime contractor. So there's nothing wrong with that at all. But like I say, for me personally, I like to go as a prime. That way I can, be responsible. All the ins and outs falls kind of on me and my company, and that's kind of how I would go about that. But there's not a wrong answer there. So I just wanted to drop those three questions, that people have been asking. We kind of asked, around, and those type of questions normally come up most of the time in my webinars or one-on-one clients. And I want to kind of address those in a general sense. So hopefully that was some valuable information for you, and hopefully I answered those questions. That way you can get something out of it, and hopefully you guys will get on your contracting journey and start sooner than later. As always, the QR code is here. You can scan it. You can scan the QR code and you can reach me directly. I have offers on there where you can connect with me one-on-one, or we can just sit down, or even when the next free webinar is going to be. It's all going to be on that QR code if you can scan it, and it's also going to be in the description that you can click on the link and it'll take you there. Also, if here I wrote a book. This book that you see here helped me on my entrepreneurship journey. Most business owners, or should I say soon to be entrepreneurs, they don't know where to start as far as, getting your EIN or setting up your business properly or even just going to business general. Well, in that book, I talked about the 7 biggest mistakes entrepreneurs, or I can replace entrepreneurs with I, made before I left my job. And I wrote this book for you guys to make sure that transition, if you're leaving your 9 to 5, or even if you're doing both simultaneously, that's going to help you capture those mistakes and make sure not only do you not lose money and time, but also that you have a better understanding when doing business with professionals. So, anyway, that's my time for today. Thank you for joining me. Look forward to connecting with each and every one of you in some way or form, and I'll talk to you later.